Alright, I'm back on this Forerunner. I didn't want to turn the camera on yet. I was still working on these high steeler bars. And I got a little aggressive, I guess. So, I'm going to resort back to the old vise. Figure out a new way to bolt it down. But so far, this end is beating me. I got that thing so hot that it was glowing. I sprayed it down, cooled it down, heated it up. I'm going to work a little bit longer on this, but if I waste too much more time, it's not going to be worth trying to save it. So I'm going to get my vise changed out, and I'll spend another hour on this. Otherwise, we're just going to have to order new. That's just how it goes. So I'll do another update here in a bit. I just thought it was funny that, of course, I think it's a Harbor Freight vise anyways, so, and I've broke it several times. This is my second set of these teeth on there. You can tell it's just cast, and I think these are real steel. I just don't like the fact it don't swivel, which is no big deal. Unless I can use this on this swivel base, which I doubt. So, anyways, I'm gonna get busy. This is the setup I used to finally get that thing removed. This little vise needs new jaws and some other work. It'll do and get by, but basically I had to get the big pipe wrench involved, get a couple of other pieces and stuff, and finally got that off. We'll have to smooth all that back out, but I'm gonna get some of these on order. I believe this piece here we'll just clean up and reuse. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. We'll get some of these coming, or swap it over to Heinz joints. Either way, don't matter. But now that I got that all off, I'm gonna now get the bracket for the radiator. I'm gonna get it cut, get it ready to get bent, and weld it back on. Because once that's fit, I want to pull. No, I'm not gonna pull the motor yet. I'm gonna get this transmission shift cable. This end I need to fab a bracket for. I think that's the end, and then this is the end that actually goes down on the transmission bracket that's already there. But this one, I'm just gonna have to make something. I want to see if I can keep all this adjustability also, which shouldn't be super difficult. So that's something I'm going to be working on next. That way I can get that get that motor and transmission pulled out, so I can finish the fab work. Hopefully I can get that all out before I put that front end mount on. It'll be a lot easier to maneuver around and weld. And I'm going to leave the motor out while I do the rear suspension work. I may even pull the gas tank, just because I think it might be in the way of all the cutting and grinding I'm going to have to do. But I need to get it rolling again. Got the brackets prepped. I'm going to take them to a friend of mine's and put the bends in them later. And then I got a little distracted because my power steering pump pulley came in. And then I needed to focus on shift cable while I still have that transmission in there. So I need to dig through my scrap. Let's see. See the sizes. We need 1.5 inches then. That's 2 inch. 2 inch should work. Make sure it fits in that little D tank. Oh, no, it'll grab. Should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a hole put in this. Looks like there's a little divot here I can notch out so it doesn't spin. And then hope for the best. So we're gonna hope this doesn't wobble too much and walk on me. Make the hole too big. So I'm just gonna put the whole center of this as soon as I find center. And I'm not gonna put it anywhere in particular. I can cut either end off. Alright. I guess I should center punch it. Alright, well, that'll work. Yep, it's locked in there good. Now I gotta go figure out the rest of this part. I'm gonna be back. Alright, so from what I can tell, this is just an adapter plate we aren't using on this build, but the bolts holes line up. This shifter cable, it's about 3.5 inches away from the back flange on that transmission. So I'm going to make a adapter plate out of this steel to bolt onto the back side, and I believe this is going to be in that orientation. Alright, well, this is what I came up with. Let me get it out of here. It's pretty hot. Looks like I took one of those old bent wrenches. But this will sit like that. I do still have to pull the shifter out of the Forerunner, because the factory shifter for the Forerunner comes way down here. I was originally making this down here, but the other way like that. And then when I came over to the transfer case, that's when I realized I messed up and didn't look at the transfer case. So this will work nicely here, which I'm fairly happy with. So I'm gonna have to adjust the throw of the other shifter. The shifter for the 6L80E is only like a 3¼ inch throw, and the Forerunner I'm gonna have to trim it up to make it about a 3¼ I already know that the shift pattern won't line up, but that's no big deal. We can change that. So I'm going to pull that shifter out and see what I have to do to it next. I got the shifter removed, and I think if I cut this in this area here and drill a new hole, I believe there's going to be about the right, because if you look, there's a big difference there. I'll just have to get that. I don't really want to cut this can still stay. I just want to drill a hole and then get in there and hook up the cable and see if this is actually going to work. The shift cable I bought is a little different because it has different ends on each side, which works for what I need, but this is where it needs to hit. And this is how far away it is. That other cable, I need to move this to around here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this apart, get it mocked up. I'm just going to weld this piece wherever it looks the best in this area. And then hopefully I'll have a good idea if this thing shifts correct. So I'm going to get that done and then have another update. Got that other bracket done. There's my my 2 brackets. Move this one, I even lowered it just a little bit just to line up at that shift lever a little bit better. It's been kind of a long day for me. I'm just gonna call it an evening. I'm gonna come back out hopefully tomorrow after work and get that. So I did some test fitting on this, and I don't know if maybe I got my measurements backwards, but I gotta trim an inch off this now. All right, so I got that shifter mocked up in here. There's a little play left in it. I think I have to drill a hole a little bit further down that shift, the factory shift bar. Not too much more. So I've got, this one works, well, almost perfect. I know it's a little high. I probably could drop that down a little bit more to be more in line to where there's not such an arch here, which I may end up having to do anyways. I was hoping to avoid that, but the factory one that came on this was way back here, way up. And I'm not quite sure why, but when this shifts, it shifts nice and smooth up and in. This is only zip tied on because I don't want to have to pop that all the way on. I don't want to have to wear that plastic out. And then up here, there's a little play in this, which just because I don't want to tighten it yet. And then there's some play in this because I knew it needed some more adjustment, but I can get that in a little bit better. But I think this hole is going to have to be drilled down about here, and that'll give me the proper amount of throw, because okay, get this unlocked. All right, so from park to reverse, it's just a little bit between reverse and neutral there, which if I extend that on that shifter, it'll move it up quite a bit. And then neutral is down more into drive, and then drive is more second. And then I don't know if there's like a 3-2-1 in this. I'll have to do the counting of the detents down there, but so far, at least we're on the right track. Anyways, it'll be a few hours before I get back. I'm going to get that shift totally done and then put some thought into how this transfer case is going to be shifting. I need to put that up in there also, make sure what I are already done clears. Hopefully I figure it out quick, so I'll be back. I went ahead and had to put a little bit more of an angle to this. I didn't quite get it right. And then I'm going to go ahead and just shorten this just a touch here. I went ahead and ground the back off, pulled that factory little piece out. I'm just going to drill a hole like a 1/4-ish inch down. I'll put this factory piece back in, then tack weld the top, and then clean it up, make it look nice. So I'm going to get that done, then reassemble it again. Hopefully all the detents are correct, because this one has 2 more than the factory one in the Toyota does. So I'm going to try and get reverse, neutral, and drive close, and then hopefully I can get the bottom few in there. If not, this does have the option for electronic shifting also. If worst case scenario they need to get it down in a first, that could be an option, but I'm going to try my hardest. If I have to keep adjusting things, I will. I might have to put I might just build this whole thing over again, just shorter, but I don't want to get too much shorter because then it's going to be tough to get that to move just right. But I'm going to start off by just getting a hole lower, actually technically higher, which should give me a better throw. So I'm going to get that done. Alright, so there it is. I'm going to go ahead and leave that hole, and I'm not going to weld that quite yet, just in case I screwed it up too bad. 13/64, just in case anybody else is going to run into that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this back in, test it, and hope. I'm hoping it's all right now. Of course, once I tighten everything, it'll probably be even better. So I think I'm going to take some time. I'm going to have to reassemble everything, make sure it works. I did file this out a little bit better. And then I trimmed up these little locking mechanisms to where, because the thickness of this metal quite a bit thicker than what would normally be. And then I also did this side to where it seats in that bracket just a little bit more snug. And then I'm going to take it all back apart and repaint all of this and the one that's still on there. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. Well, I finally squeezed the transfer case in. I do have some work to do down there. And I don't know, a few videos ago back, I was thinking about fuel lines, and I thought for some reason these could have been possible fuel lines, which they're not. I found out these go to a heater, which I didn't even know any of these were equipped with, but it's in the center console here. And those lines, well, the lines have to come out right now anyway, so let me get under here and show what's going on. So those lines come back right here under these heat shields and go up, and it will clear. It's super tight, and this isn't all the way in yet. And then my shift cable clears fine. I'll have plenty of room. But I will have to remove this shield, that shield, and these lines, because my shift lever, that's super hard to see. Anyways, my shift lever is right up there for the four-wheel drive. And I knew this was going to be in the way, which is fine. We're just going to use some, hopefully 6-inch pipe. And we're just going to basically come in here and go up. I'm probably going to have to come down. I'm going to have to come down like this, which will be fine either way. If I need to brace it, we can brace it later once everything's together. But the four-wheel drive shifter, it's not even up all the way. This still needs to come up like that, and it hits the bottom. So I'm going to have to figure that out too, which I can modify that shift lever, but I'm not quite sure on that yet. I also need to cut a big portion of this out of the way. And then, because I only really need this bracket for the e-brake, I'm gonna cut this out of the way so it's just not under here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these lines and these two shields, this and then this, cut out of the way for now. I'm waiting to see if we can get a piece of pipe to where we can tie all this in and make it strong. I'll make it fit. It fits nice otherwise. There's plenty of room around it. The shifting lever is going to be the most difficult so far. That's going to be my biggest task. Pretty sure there's going to be coolant in that line. Okay, so that gave me enough room finally, kinda, to see that shifter way up in there. And with that crap out of the way, maybe I can extend that shifter down maybe into this area, and we may end up having to do another cable style like this and another one of those mechanisms that we've already built here, and these two bolts. I gotta figure out how to shift it now. So I'm gonna think about how this shifts and how to get a longer shifter. The other one needs to be a little shorter anyways, so hopefully I can figure it out and I'll be back. Well, what I'm thinking, I think I'm going to make another one of these little, the lower part of this bracket. I'll just trace that out. I think I can put this on the driver's side of the transmission. And we'll extend this. I'll get that bushing out of there, but I'm curious because this goes back and then comes over, and it only goes so far, and I think it might go just a little bit further. And that's locked. Push the button forward. Doesn't really lock in there good, but if I can get this part to work good, then when you come over and then so far neutral, but if I can get down just a little bit further on this, it'll go into, I mean, it's in low now, but if that could be neutral and a little bit further, I don't know, I'm rambling. Let's take this apart. The hell's, oh, okay, some of the wiring's overdrive, I forgot. That'll be good to know. Oh, okay, now what? Ah. Okay. So where's the plug at? There's no plug. Well, let's put that back together. That's good, you can clean it at least. Oh, okay. Well, what's that hitting? Oh, there's metal under there. No, it's not hitting that either. Oh, I see it. Inside here is the guide, and it looks as though that little pin there is your piece to lock that in once you get over. So I'm gonna have to get down inside of here somehow. Maybe take this off and see if I can get some of that ground out of there a little bit more. There's a couple detents down in there. So one is for the regular 4. So I'm just going to take another probably 1/8 of an inch out of both sides. Hope I can get a little bit more throw out of this thing. And I'll probably still have to square this bottom end up too. I just flat file that. Alright, I'm going to see what I can destroy. Alright, I went ahead and assembled it. That little spring goes on there, and it kind of acts like a little keeper. Otherwise that'll come out. So I got to looking at this, and I think if I die grind out a little bit of this, because when you, let me get the safety off, when you go all the way back, there's still room up here, and there's still room down here. It might be enough for me to get that all the way down into the low gear. I think I'm need just a touch more. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. It's getting late. When I get back tomorrow, I'll probably get that done and get this back in the 4Runner, because I need to start figuring out the linkage next, and lots more cutting and grinding on that. So alright, well, I was going to come out here and get busy on this 4Runner. It's been a couple of days, but then I remembered I need some steel, because I can't make the shifter for that transfer case until I get that transfer case bolted all the way up. And the cross member, sorry, that I built needs some modifications for the driveline. So this is where I'm going to end up killing this video off, because I need some parts. Before I come back, I'm going to go ahead and get these, this shifter, I don't know where, the other one must still be on there. But I'm going to get those pulled, get these painted, and when I get the pipe in that I need to make that cross member fit better, we'll continue on the build. But until then, next build is going to be probably cross member modifications and transfer case shifting, which is going to be an interesting one. So hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Make some comments down below if you guys see anything that I should be concerned with, focused on. Appreciate everybody that's been commenting. So talk to you later.